Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here on this March Monday. It's March Madness. And sadly, we just skirted this topic last week, but sadly, and I hate to start a show like this, but it really feels like Tampa Bay is crumbling in many ways. It's like the high we were on for so long, as we all said, had to come to an end. And this weekend, not only on the field, but off the field, was just an L for Tampa Bay. On so many levels. So many levels. So, we're going to get into it. Tough conversations to have sometimes. And it's going to be, this is not going to be one of those fun shows, but it's going to be informative. Maybe fun, but, we'll hopefully get there. But it's a tough time for a sports fan of Tampa Bay. And you all know why by now, I'm sure. So, Dave Wills, radio broadcaster for your Tampa Bay Rays, shockingly passing away in his sleep at the age of 58 after calling a baseball game on Saturday. He had some heart issues, but he was fine. There was no signs of anything abnormal going on. And I guess his wife woke up in the middle of the night, noticed he wasn't breathing, and called 911. And Dave Wills passes away at the age of 58 years old. Of course, we're going to get to the Lightning as well. Benching their starters, benching their top line in Buffalo. Certainly did not get the desired result a day later in Carolina, which we kind of talked about. This was going to be a tough weekend, a tough road trip, these two teams they were playing. And it turned out to be just that, just awful. So we'll get to that in a little bit as well. But obviously, the primary story here is Dave Wills. And it's always cliche to say, this is what it really, hits home, that baseball is just a game and hockey is just a game and football is just a game. It's cliche because it's 100% accurate. And it needs to be said at times like this because we lose perspective at times. And, talk show hosts, radio broadcasters, maybe not as much, but, there's always vitriol on Twitter and things like that. It's like, look, it's a game. It's a game. And the men who play it are playing a child's game, and the men who report on it get to be children the rest of their lives because we get to watch baseball games and football games and get paid for it. So when things like this hit, they hit hard. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you that I was friends with Dave Wills. I was not. I did not know the man. I met him a few times. He was on my show many times. But always, always the most gracious and happy to do it. And the people that did know him, and I've read a lot and listened to a lot over the weekend, clearly there was no finer man. There's just no finer man. And one of the greats of the business, taken way too soon. But just from my standpoint as a fan and listening, and I used to do the Rays postgame show over on 620, so obviously I listened to a lot of Rays baseball on the radio, a lot of it. And Dave and Andy were, as they said, like brothers. And the chemistry came through always. Always upbeat. And even when the Rays were struggling, they had a wonderful way of being brutally honest, too, I must say. For home radio broadcasters, and it's one of the things I really liked about Dave and Andy, obviously, is they would say many things that I would think some homer broadcasters would not say. They were very honest when the team was not playing well and honest about why they weren't playing well. And they did it in such tremendous professional way that it wasn't insulting to the players or the manager or the organization. It was very factual and it was well done. And that is not an easy thing to do, folks. That is not an easy thing to do. You have to choose your words very carefully. Your tone has to be very careful, and they were tremendous at it. And I really, really appreciated that about Dave. It always wasn't unicorns and rainbows because it wasn't. It wasn't. And there's a lot of guys that are that won't do that. And they did, and because the organization respected them, and they did it in a fair way, and it was okay. But the way that he and Andy called games, their friendly tone, his voice was tremendous, his knowledge unquestioned. But it seems so easy when you listen to it, and folks, it ain't easy. To do radio play-by-play of baseball, for God's sakes, and keep it interesting is one of the hardest things in broadcasting to do, and they succeeded wildly at it. So Dave Wills is going to be missed. And Nick, I'll turn it over to you because I've known, they weren't the original broadcasters. I knew the first group, but they came in and just did a fantastic job. They did a fantastic job. But you grew up listening to him. I mean, he was one of those voices that's all you know. Really.
Yeah, I do. And I said it yesterday. For as long as I can remember, he's been the voice of the Rays, right?
Yeah.
I always feel like the radio guys, whether it's Dave Michigan for the Lightning, Gene for the Bucks, and obviously Dave and Andy for the Rays. Those to me feel like the true voices of the team.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, and like you said, play-by-play is probably the hardest thing to do in this business. Baseball play-by-play, even tougher. And he just had a way. For me, it's like he made driving in your car and trying to listen to a baseball game on the radio. He made it very enjoyable, and I wanted to listen and. To be able to call a moment in baseball and make it feel special is, to me, what he did. And I love, the signature calls that he had, he struck him out, and the Rays win. The way he always put the emphasis on it and be able to come up with these little analogies and little sayings to make the moment feel bigger. That's what I'll remember about Dave Wills. And obviously, I read everything yesterday from – everything that, Steve Carney had to say and Neil Solondz and all these guys, and obviously Andy Freed, who worked with him for the last 15 years day by day. The tributes that they had, it doesn't seem like there was a nicer guy on the planet.
No.
Based on what we've been able to read. So it was a tremendous loss, and that's why I posted this video yesterday on Twitter. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, yeah. I retweeted that.
We could play it.
It was great to hear it, too.
Yeah, we could play it here because this was an all-time call from Dave Wills. The greatest moment in Rays history, in my opinion.
Now the 0-1 to Lowry on its way. Swinging a ground ball to second. This should do it. Aki has it. Takes it to second himself. This improbable season has another chapter to it. The Rays are going to the World Series.
Wow, I get choked up just listening to that, yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's when when the good guys get taken like this, it's just really makes no sense, right? It makes no sense, and gosh, it's like I said, I don't even know if Dave Wills knows who I am. Doesn't matter, but I'm not close to him, but I feel like I am.
Yeah,
the
best broadcasters make you feel like you know them.
Right, yeah. And they didn't do a radio broadcast yesterday, obviously, and I don't know. It's going to be very hard to.
They're not doing one today either.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. It just, I don't know how Andy's going to do it. And God help the poor soul that jumps into that chair. It's tough. So I don't have a lot of personal stories to render to you. They would, obviously be not as good as some of the others. And I'm going to try to get some of the folks that knew him on the phone and get them throughout the week and pay homage to Dave as best we can. But, if you guys have stories that you've met him or talked to him or whatever your remembrances of Dave Wills are, please put them up in the comments. We'll definitely share them with the audience. You could do that on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, on Facebook as well, on Twitter at FanStreamJP, at the JP Peterson Show. We'd be we'd love to put them up there and give as great a tribute as we can to Dave Wills. It's a wonderful, wonderful man. And our hearts and thoughts and prayers going out to his wife and family and the entire Rays family, too, because I know Kevin Cash went over there Sunday morning and then went back to the team. It's reverberating throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, and even former players. I saw Kevin Kiermaier put a nice little tribute on Twitter as well towards Dave Wills, because obviously they're just very close. I mean, he was close to all these players. He was always down there in the dugout before the games and after the games, and getting to know these guys, and very gracious and all those things. Just, again, it's almost like, what else do you say? It's like he's just a great man.
Special
man.
person.
It feels like something just got taken out of this organization.
Yeah, and and like I started the show, what a big L weekend this was for Tampa Bay, and
not a good one.
And I saw what you wrote on Twitter about Cooper benching his players, and I got to be honest with you. When I first saw it go down, I wasn't watching the game live. When I saw it go down, I was like, oh wow, this has escalated quickly. This has escalated quickly. And my first feeling was, is this really what you want to do? John Cooper, and if you don't know the backstory, so, this is at Buffalo on Saturday. Third period came along, and Coop just decided that Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov were not what they needed to get back in the game. In terms of chasing the lead, I think it was, 5-1 at that stage, 4 or 5-1. They needed a different group in there to get the job done, and they scored a couple of goals and made it a 5-3 game. So but benching, I don't know about you, and I'm not a hockey historian, but I don't ever remember any coach doing this. And this is not to say it's not the right thing. It certainly did not get the desired result on Sunday.
I can recall earlier this year when John Tortorella benched Kevin Hayes, the Flyers' leading scorer.
Yeah.
He benched him for a game. Healthy scratched him.
Yeah, and as I recall now, Torts did that to Vinny.
I was going to bring that
Took
up as
the
well.
off his chest.
I believe Torts did that to Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say there might have been something with Marty, too, where Marty wasn't getting the time that he wanted. Might have been in there as well.
I think.
But Torts is more known for doing these kind of things. But other than Torts, I can't think. I mean, there was the St. Louis head coach, Craig Berube, called out like his top players 2 weeks ago and said these guys are making a lot of money and they're not playing up to it at all. So, I mean, he went as far to talk about it, but he didn't pull them out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But to actually pull 3-star players out, including Braden Point, who had scored in that game, to extend his goal streak to 7, you don't see that every day.
Mm-mm.
And it takes a certain head coach to have the balls, I guess, to do it. And
Yeah.
to know that his team's going to be behind him.
And I wonder if Point was just kind of caught up in the web of that.
He might have been just looped into it, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see any cracks in his game.
I don't either.
So I think if there's one criticism of this I have, that might be it. But again, how do you bench two of the – then you're really putting a target on him, right? It's not even the line. It's you guys. And I think probably also, there's a message in that as well, is even if Braden Point is playing well, you guys as a group got to figure it out or you're not going to play. And the more and more I thought about it, I kind of came down as you did. And if you want to explain what you put on Twitter, I'll let you go first.
Of what Cooper said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that just shows he's the best coach in the game because of the standard that he holds with this franchise and not picking and choosing which players to use it on. And again, when you bench 3-star players like that, you could have a certain reaction from that dressing room. You could have a certain reaction from those players who get pissed off. And at least to my knowledge so far, you don't hear any stories coming out of that dressing room. The guy's pissed off.
No.
In fact, the next morning, first guy out on the skate by a large margin was Nikita Kucherov.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say that maybe it didn't work necessarily yesterday because it was a shit show, let's be honest.
It was.
But if you
which we predicted, by the way.
But if you want to put a silver lining on it, Nikita Kucherov in particular, who I think, his back checking, it was a lot better against Carolina.
It was.
So from that standpoint, you can argue that the message got home a little bit, and I don't have a problem necessarily with that. If your star players are not doing what's asked of them elsewhere in the game, because there's more than just scoring, and if you're right now you're just not scoring, then what are you really doing out there? I don't have necessarily a problem with
Giving up lots of goals right now.
Yeah, and when you've been a head coach at this team for a decade now, you kind of have your finger on the pulse of what your team needs and how these guys are going to respond.
To do it.
He's got the gravitas to do it, where I don't think a lot of head coaches, save a Tortorella, really do.
True.
So when you get past the initial shock of it, like, oh, my gosh, why is he benching all these guys? You sit back and think about it like, you know what? Standards have got to be held a little bit. It can't be every single year, okay, let's just coast and we'll flip a switch, because the more we get into this season, the more we get through this funk right now, you start to doubt a little bit, okay, where is this switch really coming? And I think that was a wake-up call for these guys. Now, it hasn't hit home yet, clearly.
That was a bad spot for them anyway.
It was a bad spot, though. I think it was hard to expect something to flip not even 24 hours later.
Right.
And having to get on the plane and go to Carolina.
Against that team.
Against that team, which is, I think, maybe the best defensive team in the league.
No question.
Yeah.
And the Bolts just don't match up well with them and the way they play. Let's just be honest. Do not want to see them in the playoffs. That said, they've had success against them before. But this team is different. This team is different. There's no question this is a different team. And I think Cooper is still searching, to be quite honest, still searching to find the right D pairs. And now Hedman goes down, which what looked to me like a back injury.
Lower
back injury, yeah, which scares the living hell out of me because those things take time. They can also be nothing. It can just be a little tweak, cortisone shot, boom, you're fine. And so there's, but they can also be career-ending.
And you saw yesterday he came back for like a shift, and it was very small.
And I'm not saying I think this is career-ending. It's more of career bothering.
Yeah. He looked at the bench and he just shook his head and said, "Nope, can't do it." Now I don't. And at that point, it was already a foregone conclusion. The game was pretty much over.
Yeah,
Lightning
no sense
went a whole second period without even getting a shot. The only team in the NHL this year to do that, which is kind of hard to wrap your mind around. So I wouldn't have put him back out there anyway at that point. There really was no sense in it, I guess. But, I mean, you look at the defense right now with him isn't really good. I looked at the pairs yesterday, and I'm looking at, you got guys like Bogosian out there and Hayden Fleury, and then if you take Hedman out, then who are you adding in there? Are we giving Flip Myers another chance? You start to look at this defense, especially with Chernak out right now.
Yeah, and Sergachev just playing like –
Sergachev has resorted right back to what he was before this season.
Yeah.
It's troublesome right now. It really is.
And this is when this weekend I went, uh-oh. Last week I was like, they'll be fine. They've always had these bad stretches. They'll pop out of it. But right now it feels bad. Now, they will pop out of it. They're just too good as a core. Stamkos didn't suddenly get old. Kucherov didn't suddenly get bad. Hedman didn't suddenly just be awful. Vasilevsky is going to return to form. He hasn't been great. But there's the bigger questions are, I still think that they're missing McDonough tremendously. And by the way, it's not they had no choice with McDonough.
No.
If they don't get rid of McDonough, then I'm not sure you have Braden Point and even some other players for a longer amount of time. So look, it just that's the salary cap. All right, that is it. Just is what it is. So you got to try to find some guys, and I thought they had done that. They seem to have done that. But right now, I just think there's just more questions defensively, and it's not just the D pairs. It's offensively, our forwards aren't playing great defense either.
I got to look at the offense too. By the way,
the offense is just. The power play is in slow motion. Guys just holding the effing puck. I'm like, squirting it, back and forth. Move the freaking puck. Move your feet. Do something different. And so the power play, and 5-on-5. Jeez, Pete, they can't put three passes together.
No, they're not even close.
For 2
right
weeks,
now.
they haven't even been able to put three passes together.
That's the thing. It's like if you go back since the All-Star break, take the games out that they won, and you almost have to minus the Detroit one because they were thoroughly outplayed.
They're terrible.
The Pittsburgh one, I thought we both would agree. I thought they played well enough that they could have won that game.
Yep.
Other than that, man, they're just getting throttled every single game 5-on-5. It's not close.
Yeah,
it's not close. Yesterday, I'll go as far to say this. I don't think this is hyperbole. That was the worst game of the John Cooper era. Yes?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
I taped it. So I was playing golf yesterday, and I was watching on my phone. I'm like, oh my God. We were talking about it in our group. Because everybody, first thing on the first tee yesterday, everybody was like, what the hell is going on with the Lightning? And I was like, well, don't expect a bounce back today. This is not the place to get well. I said they're going to get their ass handed to them today, and they did. And by the time we were done with golf and I was looking at the game, I'm like, oh, man, I can't wait to see this. And I got home last night and watched the game. I was like, oh, my God. It was like an AHL team skating. You know what it reminded me of? Back in the day, watching the Russians play against everybody else.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it reminded me of. It was like a bunch of little kids trying to get the puck from some men. I mean, and that must be very insulting to. I don't mean that to be insulting to the players at all, but that's what it looked like. They were just so outclassed, and you know what really got me? It's almost like they knew it.
Oh yeah, the body language was
terrible.
Was terrible. There was no. There's like usually you have a belief with this team, like it doesn't matter how much they go down, they're going to have some kind of fight or anything.
Right.
Zero.
Yeah, ever see like a grown man playing basketball with little kids?
Yeah.
He holds the ball up and they're all jumping at it. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah.
They're like trying to get the puck.
And even when
and Carolina's like, excuse me, take it.
Yeah. And even when it's like they got into the offensive zone and they would try to cycle things around a little bit. I mean, poor Esamont, who just get absolutely blown off the puck every time he'd go in the corner, not winning, just not even winning a single battle. Outclassed. Every time they would try to put shots through, and it's like they were trying to pump shots through.
Right.
It wasn't for lack of it. Everything's getting blocked. They did a breakdown yesterday during the intermission talking about Carolina's defense and why it's unique. The Lightning had no answer for it. They didn't adjust. There's a reason why Carolina is where they at right now in the standings. It's because of that defense. And like you said, I mean, Brian Bradley said on yesterday's show when we were talking about the Bostons and New Yorks, who did he say was going to be the toughest out? Carolina.
Yeah.
And it's because of that defensive structure that they have, and they can score a little bit as well. So I don't know. I think that didn't help. And then when the Hedman injury happened, I thought there was even more of a body language issue. And I'm not blaming him for it. There was more concern about Victor Hedman at that point.
Yeah.
And you're out there with the an important piece to the puzzle. It's just a bad night. It's a bad night at the office, and it's been like that for the past 2.5 weeks.
So, with all that being said, and I'll throw this on top of it, what is one of the main things we bitched about all year long with the Buccaneers? Lack of accountability.
True. Lack
of accountability. Devin White, no matter how bad he played, he didn't miss a snap. He was never pulled off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Devin's a mixed bag. We get it. But the egregious mistakes that he made, it never seemed to be accountable for. Defensive backs, same way. Luke Gedeke, same way. Leonard Fournette, same way. Just keep putting people in that ain't getting the job done because they're high draft picks or superstars or whatever, right? You can't play football. You can't play sports. You can't have a meritocracy and win and create a positive culture because everybody sees it. The other players see it when the other players are cheating, and the other players see it. You see it on tape every day, and they know who's giving it all and who's not. And when the guys that aren't giving it their all are still rewarded with playing time, the system breaks down, and that's what happened with the Buccaneers. It's sometimes it's subconsciously, sometimes it's consciously. You see the other guys doing it a certain way, and they're getting rewarded. You're like, why am I busting my ass? Nobody's patting me on the back. I'm getting my ass sat down, and this guy's loafing all over the place. Not saying Devin White was loafing all, but you know what I'm saying. And they're still going out there. So it just breaks down. If that's one less rep you're going to do that morning, on the bench press. That's one less lap you're going to do out on the field that day. That's just one less, skating routine that you're going to do. That's 100 less power plays or, one-timers I'm going to take in practice today. And it just erodes the credibility and the effort going in and the standards, as you mentioned, the standards that have been set. And so that's exactly what you do if you're John Cooper. You say, no, this is not how we're doing it, folks. This is not how we're doing it. I'm the coach. You're the players. And if you don't reach that standard that we have set in this culture, you're not going to play.
Yeah. And it could be as simple as, he might have had a conversation with these guys and said, hey, maybe it wasn't as bad as maybe y'all think or maybe whatever. But if I sit down, like I've sat down Pat Maroon now, right? How much does that really move the needle in the grand scheme of things? It's
not
just
much.
A numbers game.
Yeah.
If I sit down Belmar or Perry, like nobody's ever going to bat an eye. We're just all going to go, they're older. We're going to rest them, sit them down a little bit. I do it to y'all, especially Braden Point, who's playing, like I said last week, as good as anybody not named McDavid right now in the NHL. I sit you guys down. Now I got everybody on their toes. Everybody knows the standard now. If I'm going the lengths to sit y'all down, I'll sit anybody down.
Right.
That's why it had to be done at the end of the day. And I don't see what the problem is with that.
I don't either.
There's a reason why there's a championship standard today.
In this world of no accountability, not just in sports, but everywhere, no accountability for anything, clearly. You can do whatever the hell you want. It seeps into sports. It seeps into everybody's game. And when you do, and the champions, the championship cultures call you out. And they're not afraid to say the emperor has no clothes. That's a championship culture. So I firmly am backing John Cooper on this. Now, that said, will it work with the modern day athlete? We'll see. We'll see. Because the one thing that we have talked about consistently on this show that absolutely boggles my mind is how the Lightning have been able to stay so good for so long. Not just because of salary caps and keeping the team together, but being hungry. In a sport where hunger really, really matters. Desperation in hockey is a winning edge every night. Bad teams that are more desperate can beat good teams every time because hockey is a lot about effort. Go get the puck, skate hard, take it away, fight in the corners, win the faceoff, battle, 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 battle. It's a hard-ass game. And when you turn up the intensity, lesser men, lesser teams, lesser cultures fade. And the better cultures win. And that's what the Lightning has done for 8 years consistently now. Consistently. It is the hardest thing in professional sports to do. Maintain excellence year after year after year. Mainly because of that aspect. In my salary cap's number one. Hunger, desire, keeping guys hungry when they're making so much money. And they've won cups. They've won cups. What is left for this team to do to immortalize themselves in hockey lore? Not much. I mean, if you win 3, I think you have a much better dynasty argument. Mm-hmm. So I think that you can be – I think this Lightning team, in order to be a all-timer, to be with the Oilers, to be with the Islanders, to be with – who are the other dynasties? Chicago-ish.
Pittsburgh, Chicago.
You know, they need one more.
Yeah.
They need at least one more. And I think you look at this team right now, you're like, it ain't happening this year. But things change in hockey. And this team is still good enough, but they have to find the desperation. They've got to take it to another level. And I'm not sure they have it in them this year to do it. It just feels to me like it's just like, okay, we've been doing this for 8 years. We've been going deep into the playoffs for 8 years. You know, it's almost subconscious. Like, can we just get one summer off? Can we just, like, you know, just one? We'll come back next year. I swear we'll dig in. But I'm just emotionally, COVID, you know, it's everybody else is gunning for us. I mean, every time we step on the ice, it's like, here the Lightning are going to teach these mofos. It's a lot. That's just my feeling that I get watching these games. And I think Cooper knows it, and I think he knows that it's human nature, and there's not much he can do about it. And this is kind of like I'm getting on my heels, and I'm going to swing as hard as it's a haymaker.
Yeah.
All you got left is maybe one haymaker, and this was his haymaker. And we'll see if it works. I don't think you can judge by yesterday, but we'll see if it works.
Yeah, it's the snowball effect to me that's different this year. I've always said that better than any team across sports, they've had the ability to not let things snowball. And now they're in uncharted territory because the last time they've had a 5-game losing streak was in March of 2014. And if my timeline serves me correctly, that was when Ben Bishop got hurt at the end of the year and they were just killed. And then they got swept by Montreal in the playoffs. So it was just a bad time at that moment.
Right.
But the only guys that were around at that time were Stamkos and Hedman and Killorn. That was it. So for this entire group that's been together, a lot of the core, what they've had to go through? A 2-game losing streak? 3 at the max, and even that would happen like maybe once a year. Hell, there were some years they never had a 3-game losing streak. Yeah. Now you're on a 5. You've lost 8 out of 10. I can't think of a worse skid than this in the past decade for the Lightning. So this is all new. Mm-hmm. So now it's like you're kind of waiting to see, okay, how are these guys going to respond now? Yeah. Because, I mean, what else could be new with this group? And now we've just found it. Yeah. And the good thing is, you know, a lot of people, yes, again, Twitter's going to Twitter, right?
Right.
And everybody are having a meltdown. Like, this team's not going to make the playoffs. Stop. They're like 12 points ahead of Buffalo.
they're making the playoffs.
Nobody's nipping on their heels to get the third spot in the Atlantic. This team's going to play Toronto. But I still think in the NHL, there's something about going into the playoffs hot and going in on some kind of a run and having figured something out. If you go in cold, I don't think most of the time that usually works out. So they still got some time. You got like 20 games to go. Now, this is a hard stretch of the season because you're playing every other night. You look at the schedule makers are not kind right now.
Oh, there's no time for
there's no time
for practice.
There's no time for practice.
No.
There's not a lot of time to quote unquote figure it out.
No.
It is going to be every other night this team's going to play. Now, here they come home for 4 games in a row? They get 4 games at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually where they've played a lot better.
And I'd say 3 of them are very winnable.
3 of them are very winnable.
Yeah, which is what they need. They
Yes.
need confidence, man. They need confidence, and that matters too. You know, you got to be able to put 3 or 4 passes together and put it in the back of the net and just go, okay, all right. It's almost like a golf swing, really. It's like when you're fighting it, it's just brutal. It's brutal. But when when you're swinging sweet, it's so easy. It's so easy. I got this. And right now they're like duck hooking it, slicing it, dribbling it. These are things I know well. It's tough. All right, so let's listen to John Cooper. This is after Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
So this is right after, the benching, and, we'll let his words speak for his words. I think this is the best way to listen to why he did it.
This type of slump is so rare for your team. How do you handle it?
Well, we just dig our heels in and show up tomorrow in Carolina and give our best effort. That's how you handle it.
John, why did Stamkos point Kucherov not playing that third period?
As coaches, you got to put your team in the best position to win. And, 99.9% of the time, those guys give us the best chance to win when they're on the ice. Just felt in the third period they weren't giving us the best chance to win. And, this team's been unbelievable for a decade, and you take the 3 finals. Well, there's a reason a lot of that's happened. We have a set of standards here that everybody adheres to, and it's not pick and choose. It's everybody, and so it's how it was for today. And like I said, those guys are an extremely important part of our team. But for 20 minutes tonight, it was. Thought the other guys could get it done, and you know what? They almost did.
Well, there you go. I think that pretty much sums it up right there. And folks, it is no more than that. And this is the way sports should be, really, in my mind. It's not, it ain't the end of the world. Doesn't mean these guys stink. It just does, and it means they're human, and they need a wake-up call. I mean, think about it. They've got 2 cups, another finals. They've all got more money than they could ever spend. They have more opportunity to do anything they want in the world. There's nothing hard about their lives, right? There's very little adversity except when they step on the ice and another team wants to beat their brains out. And it's part of human nature. And one of the most challenging things for coaches these days is to find a way to motivate the modern athlete. They've got to be motivated from within. There's not going to be a whole lot of stuff that you're going to tell them, go out and win one for the Gipper. That's going to make that much of a difference. You got to find other ways to internalize things to get them going. And I think this is what Cooper, and it may be as simplistic as that game they weren't getting it done, but come on. There's a bigger message being sent to everybody. And I like it. What do you guys think? You think Cooper did the wrong thing? Is it too heavy-handed? Is it too public? You know where I stand. All right, we're going to we'll take a break right now because we have some breaking news regarding the NFL and the NFC South and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buckle your seats, kids. I think we're in for another long one for the Bucs. All right, we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. We'll tell you more about those folks as we go through the day. Back in 3. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus the host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth, returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. If you are involved in an accident or have some issues at work, or involved maybe in a class action lawsuit, anything to do with the legal realm, the Jeeves Law Group is there for you. Many experienced attorneys in many disciplines will help you out, especially if you're in an auto accident or your car has been totaled. That's one of the things they specialize in, getting you the best settlement. Even if that settlement's already done, they might be able to have get you some money and you have a case. So give them a call over there at the Jeeves Law Group. Just contact them through the website, JeevesLawGroup.com. So, as expected and predicted, Derek Carr is about to become a New Orleans Saint. The only team that started the offseason with worse cap situation than the Buccaneers has somehow figured out a way to get Derek Carr on board. This is what has it been 2 years now or just 1 year without Drew Brees?
It's been 2 years.
2 years. This is what 2 years of not having a quarterback will do for you folks. You will find a way to get someone who's competent. Not the best, certainly not the greatest guy, but a guy that you think can come in here is a top, I would say, 15 quarterback in the league. You know what you're going to get. Could be a 35 touchdown, 7 interception season where he throws for 4,500 yards. Or you could get something a little bit less pedestrian. But it's going to be decent, competent NFL quarterbacking, which is why I laid out about a month ago a battle plan for the Bucs to go get Derek Carr. And obviously they could have done it on their salary cap as well. But here's the game that the Saints are playing. Now who else has got to go? So, and we'll see if they can finagle it. And obviously, the Bucs could have done the same, but I think they're just going in a different direction. And we'll see which one is smarter. And listen, I think the Bucs are squarely about trying. This is what I think their focus is right now. I don't think they want to retread. I think they want to find somebody who can elevate this team as it is now. And that may be a younger player. That may be a Hendon Hooker. It may be a Will Levis. It may be one of these quarterbacks that they love in the draft that they have plans on jumping up and getting and building around. And, if they have to give up 2 first-round picks in the coming years to do it, maybe that's what their plan is. I don't know. But I get a sense that they're all in on trying to find that next guy. And I think, it might be Hendon Hooker because the fact that he is injured and maybe he slid down a little bit. It may be Kyle Trask. They may think that Kyle Trask is that guy, that he is a young Derek Carr. And he's a hell of a lot cheaper, and they can build around him. Okay. The bottom line is the bottom line. They're going to have to go find somebody that's going to be better than Derek Carr. Because right now, the Saints have just become the leader in the NFC South.
Well, I don't think you're finding anybody that's going to be better than Derek Carr next season.
No.
So,
nope.
I mean, this is my, and I said this kind of.
But is the team going to be better? What corresponding moves are the Saints now going to have to make? Which guys aren't coming back?
Well, they've already started to restructure contracts and move off guys, and now the next one's going to be Jameis, and that's going to get them closer because right now, and this is from Spot Track, they are now $17 million over the cap, and this is before we figure out what the number is for Derek Carr.
Yep.
So they're going to have to move off the Jameis contract, and that's going to free up money.
Yep.
Marshawn Lattimore has a $22.5 million cap hit this year. I'd imagine they'd love to lower that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine they'd love to lower Cam Jordan at a $25.6 million cap hit.
Yep.
I'd imagine they wanted to lower Andres Pete, a guard.
How much dead money does Cameron Jordan have?
He has $23 million in dead cap. Lattimore has $43. So you're not really.
Yeah, getting rid of those guys.
Yeah, the Kamara thing, I don't know how it works. If he gets suspended, does that help their cap situation at all?
No.
I'm not sure how those things work.
Just a 6-game suspension.
The Michael Thomas one is a clear one if they wanted to go that route.
What's the dead money on
But
his?
he has $26 million in dead cap. And he's only a $13 million cap hit this year, so
can't move it.
you'd have to
not getting room there.
You'd have to try to trade for Michael Thomas, and I imagine that'd be difficult to do at this point.
Yeah.
So they're still going to have to get creative. But in regards to Derek Carr, though, and I felt the way about this with the Bucs if he had come here, is Derek Carr taking you to a Super Bowl? No, I think I can confidently say that. But in this division, given the quarterback situation and the other things that are going on, the Saints are clearly the best team.
I don't
because they have the best
quarterback.
quarterback.
I don't understand why you say Derek Carr can't take you to a Super Bowl.
Derek Carr, I can't. No, no. In the modern day, how many Derek Carrs are taking you to the Super Bowl now? It's all about the stars now. And don't throw Jimmy in here because Jimmy's in a great situation. He got there because of that. All right, but
that's the point. You can get there with a Jimmy Garoppolo and a
unless
Derek Carr.
he has a Matthew Stafford type resurgence.
Matthew Stafford. I think a lot of people would put Derek Carr and Matthew Stafford in the same boat for the first 7 years there.
I think Stafford was a much more talented quarterback than Derek Carr. Had 5,000 yard seasons, 40 touchdowns. Derek Carr ain't never been that. Derek Carr ain't never been that.
Been very consistent.
He's been very consistent, I guess. He's had bad situations. Listen, I love Derek Carr. I'm just saying, if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, I don't think he's there.
You got to have good players around. You got to have a Jalen Hurts type of team, a San Francisco, Eagles type of team, which is what every team is trying to get to roster-wise, right?
Yeah.
So and with those teams, you can have. It's funny though; those teams always seem to get there, but even by the slimmest of margins, they don't win. Even by the slimmest of margins, they don't win. Jimmy completes one deep ball, they win, right? So it's weird. That's why I hate saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that." Everybody said there's no way the Bengals are getting to the Super Bowl a year after Joe Burrow had ACL. You can't do it.
Well, be honest,
but it
though.
happens.
Be honest, though.
And I didn't see a whole lot of people picking the Philadelphia Eagles to get to the Super Bowl here this year.
Well, just be honest, though. Honestly, again, nothing against Derek
Everybody
Carr.
was saying Jalen Hurts can't take you to a Super Bowl.
I wasn't saying that.
I wasn't either, but most people were.
Well, they're idiots anyway. Derek Carr, though, seriously, like they're facing the Bucs 2 times a year. Are you sitting here today going, "Oh my gosh, I'm really scared to play the Saints"? I'm not. I'm really not. I understand. I'm going to acknowledge that Derek Carr is the best quarterback in this division right now, and it's not close. And the Saints, because of that, no matter what they do to their roster, are the favorite.
Yep.
I'm going to acknowledge that. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, oh, my gosh, I can't. I'm so scared Derek Carr is going to drop 40 on my head. No. I don't have that fear.
I just want to be excited about the Bucs. And the only way it's going to get me excited about the Bucs this year is if they bring in somebody or Kyle Trask becomes really good. And we start going, oh, wow, okay, we can build with this guy. Now, do I think that's a thing? Candidly, I'll say what I did in the poll last week. I'm at a 4 of excitement level with Kyle Trask. I think it's possible that he could get there, that he could be a pretty good, Kirk Cousins type NFL quarterback, but he's not going to be transcendent. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be Joe Burrow. He's not going to be that guy. Can Hendon Hooker be that guy? He could. He might be. Is Will Levis that guy? Could. He might be.
Is he Anthony Rich?
He could. He might be. I mean, a lot of tongues were wagging on Saturday at the combine.
Yeah, this tongue was wagging a little bit too. I'm not gonna lie.
Everybody was like, "Oh." I mean, I think we were all going, maybe.
Or suddenly going like, could it work?
Maybe he could work if we don't let anybody else on the field rush him, and there's no other defensive backs out there, and guys are just running around in underwear. He could be really good. And it's not the way the game's played. So I still listen. I sit here and say I don't want to go through the Anthony Richardson because I think it's still such a roll of the dice on so many levels. The maturity level is not there for me. And how can it be? He's 12 years old, for God's sakes. He's 21 years old?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's so young. And it's so hard. And to come into the NFL and you're not an accurate passer. You're just not. I don't care what we saw at the combine. Stop. It's a totally different – it's a different sport what they do at the combine. If you think he's suddenly become an accurate quarterback because of what you saw at the combine, you know zero about football. But the guy's just an absolute dizzying talent. It's phenomenal.
And that's you have to see is those little glimpses, and that just shows you what the high-end potential is. And, everybody sees Cam Newton all over him. I could almost make the argument, and I'm saying this because Cam won an MVP, but let's be real. Take the MVP season out.
There's a lot of meh.
There's a lot of meh in there. I'll put it that way. But still, Cam was a specimen. I think the high end of Anthony Richardson, it might be the ceiling-wise greater than the high end of Cam Newton. Am I crazy for saying that?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, their comps are so – Cam and Anthony Richardson are just so similar in so many ways. Their size is almost identical. Everything is almost identical physical-wise, right? And then you look at the maturity. Same thing. Cam was immature when he came out. I think he was immature. I think he's still immature. I don't think he ever grew up. I don't think he ever reached that level of maturity. I just don't for a professional quarterback situation. I mean, and I think it showed in his game. His game was immature. And Anthony Richardson can certainly be a totally different person than that. I don't know who Anthony Richardson is as a human being. I know what people say about him. I know people in the business that have spent a lot of time around Anthony Richardson and what they say privately about him. Those are, and not that he's a bad kid. That's not what they say. The word immaturity keeps coming up. Immature. Okay. But that's modern day NFL now, okay? These quarterbacks that are that can play like this, and look, sitting back in a pocket and trying to do what Brady did for 20 years, the game has changed. The game has changed, and I don't think you're ever going to see those type of quarterbacks again. And it takes a different skill set to be that guy. And I just think it's more difficult to find that guy. And now they're not even teaching that in college anymore. These offenses, these quarterbacks are getting out on the edge. Their run pass threats. It has totally changed the game. And all you need to do is watch the stagnant offense of the Buccaneers last year versus every other offense that you saw in the NFL, almost every one. And that's why we were also like, oh, my God, this is awful. There's no options in the red zone because you have a standstill quarterback in an offense that's designed around having uber-talented receivers and an uber-talented quarterback who's uber-accurate and has time to throw. And all that broke down.
Hey, I'm going to throw another name out there real quick to you because we're obviously talking about the big ones right now. But you know who had a awesome Combine week? Dare I say the best performance of any quarterback there at the Combine?
Are you going to say Stetson Bennett?
You're damn right I am. I just want to point it out there. I'm just going to put it out there. Now, for one, I'm not the guy to come to go overreact over the Combine. I tried watching some of it. I find it very, like, ugh. I'm tired of all these testing. I don't understand it. I really just don't care. But if we're going to go off of Combine winners, right, and everybody's pointing to Anthony Richardson, I'm sorry, but Stetson Bennett looked the part, in my opinion. I don't give a rip if he's 28 years old. I see what I see. And I saw at Georgia when everybody tried to say that he was marginal this and marginal that.
He could throw the football.
No. He was throwing big, as Hendon Hooker said, big boy balls.
Yeah.
Sure, he was playing with elite talent, but you know what? He was getting it there. He's proven, obviously, that he can win. And I think he proved in the first Alabama game last year, the title game, I thought he was as big of a piece of why they won that game as anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know that he can win.
He made great throws.
And this
tremendous
week, and then
throws, under pressure.
And I don't know how if people want to like go the arm strength route. And this is so funny how we do this stuff with the Combine. It's funny to me. They did the thing where like they threw it. It was like how hard can he throw? Will Levis threw at 59 miles per hour, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, look at Will Levis! He just set a Combine record. He threw at 59 miles per hour." Stetson Bennett also threw at 59 miles per hour.
Nobody even said it.
And nobody said a word.
Nobody
said a word. So we're going to sit here and critique Stetson Bennett's arm strength and marginal this. He threw as hard as Will Levis did, and he's so much smaller than Will Levis last time I checked.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there. Somebody, in my opinion, is going to get a steal, and Stetson Bennett, wherever they draft him. I just have a feeling about this guy.
What did he measure out at?
Let me look.
I think 5'11", because Young measured out at what, 5'10" and an eighth. Yeah.
I have 5'11".
Oh, see,
192 right here.
Yeah, it's small, man. It's small. But he does move around. Obviously,
he ran. Was it 4.67?
Yeah, that's a good time. It's a good time for a quarterback. No, he can play in this league, man. There's no question that in this modern day league, he can play, and I do think if the Bucs draft him, will I be like head over heels? No, but he could prove me wrong. He could prove me wrong. I think it's hard to sit here and say, oh, I would definitely take him before I would take Anthony Richardson, right? Right? It's hard to say that. Well, look at their numbers against the same competition, almost the same exact schedule for SEC, right?
Yeah, it's still a little bit harder though because of what he was
Exactly.
playing with.
Exactly.
It's hard to compare it.
It is very hard to compare it, but it's also a lot of apples to apples.
I just feel like for what he was asked to do, I don't agree with this notion that it's all Georgia's defense that did all this.
No.
I just don't. I don't agree with that for 1 second.
Was that the championship game? Hell no.
I saw Stetson Bennett making NFL throws on a weekly basis in the best conference.
Yes,
I don't, and I don't really, and I just don't really care that he's that old.
Yeah.
I'm not as big on that type of thing as a lot of people are because of this perceived ceiling thing that's not there. I don't understand.
The only time
that.
age really comes into it,
yeah,
is that you get more years at the back end of his career.
Yeah.
Who
I'll
cares?
tell you
Who cares
what
about
I
15
see.
years from now?
I'll tell you what I see with Stetson Bennett. I see
like
a
guy
kid
older because he comes in and he's mature enough to handle the NFL game in an NFL locker room.
Stetson Bennett didn't help himself with the whole DUI thing.
No, he did not.
Didn't in regards to the maturity.
And
we got to keep it consistent. If we're going to go off
and
of,
it's a great point you make because I think physically he's underrated, his arm strength and all that stuff. But from a maturity level and a cockiness, like to me, Stetson Bennett went from this great story to being a cocky frat boy. You know, that's the way he strikes me now.
Yes.
And there are a few things that irk me more than that. And so I think that I don't think he's going to be it might be a tough sell in some locker rooms for him if he tries to pull that off. I think, in college you can do that, especially if you're the elder statesman and you're the starting quarterback. I think you can get away with that a little bit. That crap ain't going to fly in an NFL locker room.
Well, I'll just point this out here. This is what I see with Stetson Bennett, and I think he has this working in his favor. He was not a high recruit, right? He was a walk-on. He was a walk-on. He had to transfer out of Georgia and go to Jones County Junior College.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby Smart believed in enough to bring him back, and he sat behind Jake Fromm, Jamie Newman. Remember that whole experiment?
5 stars.
Remember that whole experiment? Jamie Newman, JT Daniels, Justin Fields was there for a cup of coffee. All these quarterbacks that were all 5-star recruits he sat behind, and Georgia was going nowhere with any of them. And Stetson Bennett comes in there. Kirby Smart believed in him and gave another chance. That's what I see.
And he wins back
to back national championships. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I'm just going to point it out there. Like, Baker Mayfield was perceived to be good enough to go number 1 6 years ago.
Same size.
He had all the production.
Yep.
He didn't win the big one in college, but he was like about the same size.
Yeah.
Like
bigger than Kyler Murray.
So I guess that's my point there. It's like we could get to Baker Mayfield going number 1 overall. And I'm not saying Stetson Bennett should go number 1 overall. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, how is it that in a span of 5 years we can go from, we can draft Baker Mayfield number 1 and feel good about it. But now
Stetson
we're like,
Bennett's a 7th rounder.
But Stephen Brown is a 7th rounder.
Yeah, it's a big.
I can't really get there.
No. The guy knows how to win football games. He knows how to make big time throws.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sit here and say and say the same thing about some of these other quarterbacks, but he has to be in the mix. I think he's being completely undersold.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some of the comments here. You guys are lighting up.
I'll get this one real quick from Jeremy Lowe. This is why he's off my draft board. Will Levis puts mayo in his coffee. He's never gonna live that one down. He thought that was some kind of flex, but he's sadly mistaken.
Why? I see a lot of these.
Remember last year they did like a whole little thing on ESPN about it, and like he put mayo in his coffee, and like I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish here. I mean, he went off my draft board immediately.
It's supposed to have some health benefits to it.
I don't care. It's weird. It's gross. No.
Whatever. Just that's it.
The talent doesn't outweigh it for me.
But I will say there's an anti-Mayo bias out there that I just don't feel is fair. I think Mayo gets a really bad rap.
We're not going. You want to have a condiment discussion here?
I mayo the hell out of my sandwiches. Miracle Whip is even better than mayo. It's mayo on steroids with a little sweetness to it. The Miracle Whip and mayo, fantastic, especially if you go the olive oil mayo with cracked peppercorn in there. That is fantastic. So you anti-mayo people, I don't know where this hate comes from. I just don't know.
Richie says here, okay, after this weekend, I'm all that BS I was saying about Richardson on Friday. I take it all back. Richardson is special. I get it. The sample size is small, but damn, I'm not getting Mamula vibes with this guy or Mamula vibes or Jamarcus Russell.
Why not? How do you look at his inconsistency in games and say this guy is overrated? Like, I could see taking Anthony Richardson in the 2nd or 3rd round, but we're talking 1st round. I don't know. I get the talent, but there's so much more to quarterbacking, leadership, and all of that.
Yeah.
I just, when he throws 3 picks, and he will throw 3 picks, how's he going to react to that? I just, and again, the fact that he is so young gives him time to mature, obviously, right? What's he going to mature into? But, is he going to?
Yeah.
I mean, is giving it, again, and I said this on Friday, I'll say it again. I think Tampa Bay is a bad fit for Anthony Richardson. It's too close to home, right? It's this team right now needs someone with real leadership capabilities, mature leadership capabilities. This is an older team still, especially in the offensive side. You got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin's not old, but he's an old soul, right? Ryan Jensen, young kid. Like Anthony Richardson just doesn't fit that to me.
Well, let me tell you this. Let's take a break. And when we come back, this is our tease here because you haven't seen what's going on yet.
Oh, no.
We have there's a little bit of a wrench that might be thrown in the Bucks' plans that has just come down.
Oh, really?
That we can get into when we come back from break here. People are talking about it in the chat.
Okay.
So
okay,
we'll let you digest that on the break, and we'll come back and talk about it.
All right, let's do that. We are brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo will join us at 11:45. I'm going to confirm him. And we'll talk about all things wellness, what the bad things I did this weekend. And if you want to lose weight, you want to get on some testosterone replacement therapy, which if you're an American male, you should be on. No question about it. BAMMC.com. So we'll talk to Chris a little bit later on. Stay with us. Can't wait to hear this. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Gold and Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
Wow, seismic clashing here. But hey, if you're a consistent listener of the JP Peterson Show, this next story will not come as a surprise to you whatsoever. Shocking, I think, to other people, but not to us. Welcome back, by the way. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, the gold and diamond source. So, okay, Devin White has put out some cryptic – actually, it's not cryptic at all. Devin White has basically just told us he's no longer going to be a Buccaneer. Now, we don't know if this is contract dispute type stuff or if it's he's already been told that he's on the trade block or figured out that he's on the trade block, because that becomes noted pretty quickly when you're getting shopped around. Your agent finds out about it, then you find out about it, and away we go. Devin White has basically put 3 Instagram posts.
Yeah.
My social media expert. I'll turn the floor over to you.
3 Instagram posts. One of them here sitting in the locker room, and it says "Thank you" with a pirate flag in a deuces sign. The second one.
That means peace out for
peace
the
out
other
for all
people
those.
that don't know.
The other one says 4 years went by fast. ...
Yep.
And then the third one has a road sign that says God isn't asking you to figure it out. He's asking you to trust that he already has. And then he put underneath it next stop with a little bit of a checkered flag emoji under it. So
right.
3 separate posts right there indicating that he could be out.
Yeah. So obviously the Bucs aren't going to release him. So a trade is in the offing, and I've been talking about this for quite some time because, he's one of those assets that certainly has value out there. And what can you get for Devin White? And
yeah.
And this is one of those things where, you get kind of put in a corner like the Cardinals were with Kyler Murray, right? Where the player basically, you either have to pay the player the going rate for the franchise best, the franchise best contract like Roquan Smith just got as an inside linebacker. That's the standard now, right? So his agent is going to be wanting that. And there's just no way in the world in a salary cap, especially when you're strapped salary cap like the Bucs are. I mean, if they were in a better situation, they could consider paying Devin White. I get that. But they really have no choice here. They cannot pay an inside linebacker, especially one that gets beat in key moments, that kind of $17 to $20 million a year. You can't absorb that. You need that money for other spots.
Yeah, he's not that guy. And Greg Allman put it right here. He's due to make $11.7 million this season, and obviously they would save all that if they were able to make a trade. This wouldn't be a cut situation.
Right.
And we mentioned, and at least I've said it, I think he might be, in the eyes of the league, he's very highly thought of.
He's Roquan Smith.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what you could get back for him.
I am too.
In this type of deal. And I'm trying to think, because Roquan Smith was traded to Baltimore, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see what the trade was for him, what he was able to net.
That's a good comp.
All he got a second round and a 5th round pick was Roquan Smith.
And then they paid him $20.
And they paid him $20. Now, if let's just say
I was hoping for a second and third.
Let's just say the Bucs got there's a little bit of a difference there because I believe he was traded during the middle of the season.
And also, isn't he a little bit older?
Roquan is about a year older, if I'm correct.
All right. Yeah, that's what if you can get a second and third for Devin White, I think you take it.
I would take it in a heartbeat.
Because listen, can you replace him with an inside linebacker in the second round? Yeah, you can. Probably one that plays the run better. Probably one that doesn't have the upside that Devin has.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you haven't seen that upside in 4 years.
And when is it ever going to happen?
I mean, and we saw it in 2020, but that 2020 looks more like a flash in the pan. Now it looks like teams know what he is, what he can and cannot do, and they take advantage of it on a weekly basis.
Again, you know what my rule is. Take out the rookie year.
Yeah.
Take out your best year.
Yeah.
And that leaves me with Devin White from 2021. And that leaves me with Devin White from 2022.
It was underwhelming at best.
I'm sorry.
Underwhelming at best.
And this is not being harsh.
Definitely not a $20 million a year linebacker.
This is not being harsh. But from like week 3 to about week 10 in that kind of area last year, he was borderline unplayable. He was only playing because the Bucs just simply had looked. I mean, Todd Bowles probably looked behind Devin White and said, ugh, I might as well just keep him in there, I guess. That's really the only reason why, in my opinion, he continued to play as much as he did.
Yeah.
Because there was just zero behind him. And we mentioned it. To his credit, Devin White, I thought, played a lot better down the stretch last season. I thought he did. But if I'm paying you, and that's what I have to look at, if I'm going to have to give you $18 to $20 million, I don't want you playing well in just stretches. That's a lot of money to tie up to not a premier position.
Right.
I mean, you go on the best positions, quarterback, tackle, receiver, cornerback, edge rusher, whatever order you go in, that's the big five.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't play a big five position like that, I kind of struggle having to pay you $20 million.
Yeah, I do too.
Unless you're an absolute game changer, and he's not.
I do too.
And is that harsh to say? Why can't we just have an honest discussion about that?
Because we like Devin. We like his story. He's a good dude. Even I wasn't thrilled with the way he handled the Love situation last year, but I think at heart he's a really good guy. He's a good teammate. Guys love him. He plays hard at times, and then sometimes he doesn't, and he doesn't play smart. He's not good at getting off blocks, which is a primary job title for an inside linebacker.
And also,
he's a great blitzer. He's got so many great qualities about him, but I just don't think his game is complete. I mean, at $20 million, you have to be elite at everything. Mm-hmm. Getting off blocks, being a great run stopper, being great in coverage, being responsible at the key times in the red zone. Yeah. He's not any of that.
And let's keep in mind,
he's not elite any of that.
6 days ago, Bowles spoke very highly of Devin White.
Yeah.
And I pulled that up here if we want to play it again.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we can hear. This was 6 days ago, Bowles on Devin White, mind you.
No, Devin takes a lot of heat for some of the things. Everybody charges his missed tackle, but he makes tackles that I haven't seen linebackers make in 30 years. He can make plays for us. He's still one of our best two players on defense. Have a lot of faith in him. His growth mentally, understanding the system, it's not an easy system, has been outstanding. I think the world of the guy. I think he's a heck of a ball player, and I think this will probably be one of his better seasons.
So when you look at that in hindsight now, is that Bowles putting it out there for everybody else?
Could be.
Like, here, I'm one of the best defensive coordinators in the world. Everybody knows that. Here's my stamp of approval on Devin White right here.
Well, that's what you want if you're putting him on the trade market. You want everybody to know, listen, we don't want to trade Devin White. It's a cap move. We're trying to get something for him. He's a phenomenal player. We love him. This is not an underperforming player. It's just we understand that his agent wants $20 million, wants $75 million guaranteed over the next 5 years. We're just not in position to do that. We love him as a player. Please, somebody give me a second and third. But I'm also not saying that Todd Bowles was lying. I think Todd Bowles feels that way about Devin White.
Oh, I do too. Well, I mean, everything we
Todd
kind
Bowles
of
watches the tape.
Yes,
come on.
Everything we kind of.
Todd Bowles is smart enough to know exactly what we know.
Yeah, but it's like everything we hear. It's like that's his guy.
You get attached. Coaches get attached to players, which is why you have a general manager with a different set of eyes, and general managers get attached to players too because they drafted them. So you have to have. That's why you need a collective, an ensemble group that's being honest about every single player. And that's when the system works best. And I just think we're not Lone Rangers here when it comes to Devin, right? I mean, PFF will back us up on that. A lot of people will back us up on that. So, but again, Todd Bowles may be too close to it. But listen, if the Bucs can get a second and third for Devin White, I think in this draft they'll find a replacement for him, and in the long run, they're going to be a better football team. Is that fair? I think it's fair.
Yeah, and Greg also, Greg is on it right now with all this compensation stuff because somebody asked him about the Roquan Smith deal, if we could get the same. And he mentioned that Roquan Smith was also a high draft pick, same position on a fifth-year option. But Bears paid almost $5 million of his remaining salary to get higher picks from the Ravens. So I guess to even get the second-round pick, they had to eat $5 million of his salary.
For 1 year.
For at least 1 year, yes.
Still gives you cap relief.
Still gives you cap relief.
Significant.
Depends what you want to do, I guess, if you're Jason Licht. I just am under – if it's just me knowing that I have to pay Antoine Winfield and I have to pay Tristan Wirfs and I know I have to pay at least $20 million for those two dudes. That's my thing. I don't want to have to pay a third.
Well, maybe not Antoine.
Maybe not Antoine, but he's going to be, what, in that 15 to 17 range if I had to imagine?
Safeties don't get that much. And, he took a step back last year.
He was hurt, though.
He was hurt.
Let's be honest. I think they've already acknowledged that with Antoine. They tried to put him in that Rondé Barber role, and he got beat up.
Just goes to show you how hard that is.
Yes, he got beat up, and I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to move him back.
All the candidates I've seen come along to do that, he was smart.
Yeah.
He knows the game. Great instincts for the ball. Same size, same toughness, same everything. It's just Rondé's super
Yeah,
special.
he got beat up, and I think they even said that the combine, they're going to just put him right back to his comfort zone.
Right.
Let's not mess what we had.
Let him make plays.
My point is, though, it's like if you're tying up a large amount of money for the future with those two guys, and they 100% deserve it, you can't do it with Devin White.
Yeah.
Not the same deal.
I agree with you 100%. All right, let's take another break. We're going to come back. I want to get into this a little bit more and see where we have two seismic things happening this morning. There's a new sheriff in the NFC South, and Devin White may be on the trade block. So there's big things happening with the Buccaneers. And what does some of the weekend happenings say about Kyle Trask? Where was Kyle Trask on Saturday night when the boys were out? We have to find out about that. So much more coming up here on the JP Peterson Show. We're brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. This March, the birthstone is Aquamarine. You get 15% off any Aquamarine. Cool gem, by the way. Lots of interesting pieces that you make with Aquamarine. So check it out at the Golden Diamond Source. Get you, honey, something special over there. If you're thinking about getting engaged, my man Nick Geddes did it right over there. No better experience, no better selection, no better budgeting, no better anything. It is the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Omigen Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation. Home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Tell them JP sent you. Get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call. 727-894-2929. 727-894-2929. Or go to JeevesLawGroup.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get that insurance checkup right now. You could save thousands and thousands of dollars. It's a great time to do it, folks, because, man, we need to save money. And there's always companies coming in that are offering a little bit lower rates to get some of their rosters up. Good companies, and the Italiano does that all. They vet all the companies that they sell to their clients, right? Because they do research on dozens and dozens of companies to get you the best price. You're not just dialing an 800 number or talking to a bunch of robots. You get actual customer service from human beings that are here locally and will help you out. That's why Italiano's been in business for over 60 years. It's the great personal customer service that they give you. Old school, folks, and you got to love that. So give them a call, 813-877-7799. All right, so listen, Anthony Richardson blew up the combine this week. Could he be that guy that the Buccaneers are eyeballing? Hell, he may be out of their range now, which might be a good thing. And here comes Derek Carr. Looks like reports are that he's going to finalize a deal with the Saints. What are the numbers? I'll be interested to see that. Is it something, did he do a deal where he can play in New Orleans and they can still build around him? He seems like maybe a guy that has made a lot of money in this league and would be willing to do that. Did the Bucs miss out on that opportunity? We'll be able to evaluate that when we see the numbers. Why were the Saints able to get him under the caps and the Bucs couldn't? Why aren't the Bucs going in that direction? Why didn't they get into the sweepstakes? These are questions that we have to know because they have other ideas at quarterback. What are those ideas? Kyle Trask? Is there a sleeper in this draft that they really, really think is good, that they know they can get? You know, is that guy Stetson Bennett? Is that guy, you know, when they talked to Todd Monken, did he tell us that Stetson Bennett's going to be a great pro? I don't know. There's so many things that are going on. Devin White is now on the trade block. He is basically said on Instagram that he ain't going to be around here anymore. But that could just be that the Bucs have said we're not giving you the fifth-year option.
Jameis Winston's available.
Yeah, Jameis Winston has been cut by the Saints, so he's about. Is that what they're doing? Are they going back to Jameis? No, they're not doing that.
Oh my!
But they could. Listen, I'll tell you this: if they ask Mike Evans about it, I don't know what Mike would say. Actually,
I think Mike would say respectfully,
now that he's had
I'm
3
good.
years of Brady.
Respectfully, I'm good. I'm good.
You mean I turn around, the ball's right there? Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. I remember now. I love Jameis. Although I do remember they had a bit of a falling out at the end. Remember the whole jersey thing? You know, you may not have been around, but my friend's son, who was a vintage clothier, he goes into all these Goodwills and stuff and looks for stuff and then posts it and then sells it online that people throw out. Mm-hmm. Jameis threw out a jersey that Mike Evans gave him, signed.
What?
Yes, threw it out. The guy found it in Goodwill. Yeah, he did. And, that was and so there was was there a rift between – why would he do that? And then Jameis, I guess, came out and said, well, my wife got rid of all my Buck stuff, and that was a mistake. But dude found that jersey's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least maybe tens of thousands. Anyway, so maybe there was a falling out. But where was Mike Evans Saturday night?
He was at UFC 285.
With whom?
With Thomas Edward Patrick Jr. or Patrick Brady Jr.
Really?
Yeah.
Who else was there?
Ryan Griffin.
Ryan Griffin was there?
Ryan Griffin was there, and so was Blaine Gabbert.
Was Kyle Trask in the bathroom? So the whole quarterback room was there but Trask?
No.
Yeah.
No, because Kyle Trask is the quarterback room.
Well,
nobody else is under contract.
I meant last year's quarterback room.
Gotcha.
Last 3 years quarterback room.
Hey, Kyle Trask was in the gym pumping iron. Man.
That's it. That's where he was. That's right. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. He's probably out of the club too, and that's fine as long as he doesn't have a gun. John Morant, what are we doing? So, I mean, this is. Listen, if there's one good thing about this whole thing right now for Sports Talk is we are going to, over the next couple of months, we're going to have so many things to talk about with the draft coming up. This is such a critical time for the Buccaneers right now. And this is why the Glazers were in town a couple of weeks ago for an inordinate amount of time to plot this course on what this rebuild is going to look like. And it looks like they're going to try to eat as much salary as they can this year, maybe take a flyer on a quarterback in the draft and get somebody, see if Trask can do it, see if Hendon Hooker or Stetson Bennett or whoever they might draft can do it, and clean up their cap situation and then go from there. And still, will they still have a shot to win the NFC South? I think they will. But there's a lot to be done. And look, Donovan Smith is going to be released. Tristan Wirfs probably moved to the left side. Hainsey or Gedeke at the right side. That's a good offensive line. I don't care what you say.
It's an upgrade on last year.
It's a good offensive. Yeah, it's a big upgrade because you got a left tackle that's, has 2 arms. Donovan Smith had the worst season at left tackle of any bona fide left tackle in the league last year. The worst. So, yeah, it's an upgrade. It's a huge upgrade. And you're going to have a quarterback that can do different things in an offense that, listen, you want to say whatever you want about Brady. He's the GOAT. Last year, Brady always was bad. He was bad. And I don't care if he set a record for completions. A 1-yard completion is not a big deal. You're losing ground, folks. And a lot of those passes were incomplete. They threw so many of them. They were incomplete, and they weren't even positive gains. So what are we doing? The offense is going to be better this year, no matter who the quarterback is. Come on. It's got to be better than 26th in scoring, 27th?
Yeah, and Mr. Canales has already given me, at least with his words, he's given me confidence that he'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be a top 5 offense.
No.
But it's not going to be bottom 5 either. I don't see that. I'm not with this offensive line, not with this running back, not with the new system, and not with a quarterback who's somewhat competent and can move. It could be. Kyle Trask may be the worst thing ever, and whoever they bring in as a competent veteran may not be that good either. And the rookie that if they whiff on all 3 of those things, well, then you deserve to be shit. You do. That's how this league works. You got to make some good decisions, and that's just so right now. This is Jason Light's baby. Okay, this is Jason Light's baby. He becomes, and I'm sure that they've got input they better have gotten input from Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles and their whole brain trust as to what this rebuild is going to look like. And I think we kind of nailed it. Devin White's on the trade block. I would not be shocked if Ryan Jensen is too, although I think his contract is not, and Mike Evans is not getting traded. I would like to keep Ryan Jensen because I think a good offensive line keeps you relevant in terms of you're going to win games. But that offensive line, you're going to win games.
That just hurts. That hurts your offense so much.
I know. It'll kill a quarterback. If you're trying to develop a quarterback and you got a shit offensive line, you will break his spirit. You'll never see who he could be. So I think that is ultimately
and we were already saying that right now he seems like he's the alpha in that offense right now, from a personality standpoint.
Yes.
And you missed him dearly last year.
Absolutely.
No, I'm keeping Ryan Jensen.
Especially if you're planning on getting one of these quarterbacks in the first round, you need a mentor at center, the guy that can take all the pressure off him in terms of learning the blocking calls.
Well, here's the thing. I've already seen that Robert Hainsey can do it.
Yeah.
I already have that card to go to. Robert Hainsey was drafted because of his versatility.
Right.
He can play everywhere on the line.
Yeah. If somebody want to give me a first-round pick for Ryan Jensen, okay. All right.
Nobody's doing that for center.
Nobody's doing that. He's much more valuable as a guy that's going to hold down the offensive line, and whoever your quarterback is going to feel comfortable back there in protection. They're going to be a better a running game. It's critical to have a good offensive line when you're looking for that next quarterback. So if I'm Jason Light, my priorities right now are solidify the offensive line for the quarterback, right? And to make sure those things kind of go hand in hand. You don't want to throw your guy to the wolves, a young quarterback with a bad offensive line. So that's critical. And then you got to get edge rusher, and you're probably going to need a corner too, and you need a starting inside linebacker because of Devin White. You got nobody in the system. So yeah, I mean, these are critical decisions now. And God, this draft, you have got to hit on this draft. You've got to get four starters, at least one Pro Bowler, hopefully your future quarterback. Oh, you're going to do that at 19. Teams do it every year, most every year. Second rounders, Jalen Hurts, all right, they're there. You can do it. So here we go. Here we go. This is what it's going to be all about. They're going to have to say goodbye to some guys that we don't want to say goodbye to, just in terms of guys we like. And we've come to love Donovan Smith. Great dude, great teammate. It just
from an on-field standpoint, though, how many of these guys am I dying to hold on to?
Not many.
From an on-field standpoint,
not many. You
really?
were 8-10 last year. You know,
like we went through the list a little bit last week with JC. Like,
yeah,
I'm literally like having to convince okay, you want to bring Nacho back as a little death piece? Okay, nothing that's impactful. You want to bring Will Golston for one more year and severely cut his snaps and just have him there on the line? Sure, go ahead. But I don't need Sean Murphy Bunting back. I don't need to go down that route again. I don't think Todd Bowles wants to go down that route again.
No,
with Sean Murphy Bunting, I don't need that. I don't need Julio Jones. I don't need a lot of these guys that are all veterans, Akeem Hicks, you name. I don't need them. So I'm not dying for any of these guys. So I'm not gonna be like boo-hooing because I don't see these guys here just because they were part of a Super Bowl. I'm not.
No,
their time has come.
Yeah, this is what rebuilds look like. And give me that template of the Eagles. You know, who did they keep? Jason Kelce.
They kept their anchors on the O-line.
Yep.
Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, and the anchors on the defensive line,
Fletcher
Brandon
Cox.
Graham, Fletcher Cox.
Yep.
And those were kind of the four pillars that stayed with them throughout the entire time, so they had that stability.
Got faster on the outsides, got more athletic at quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why stray?
That's the template the Bucs need to do.
I love it. And it's totally doable. And if this team can rebuild and get back to a Super Bowl in, 4 years? Is that what the Eagles did?
Yeah, 5 years.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah. And if you're looking for like four guys, 2 offense, 2 defense, if you look at the same thing, Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen are probably your 2 guys that you go in the foxhole with on the offensive side, on the offensive line at least. And then defensively, it's Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield, and I guess you throw Carlton in there. Those would be the 3 for now.
Yep.
I'm putting Devin White aside at the moment.
Yep.
Probably those 3.
Your core's Antoine, Carlton. And at this point, you'd want, if Levante wants to play at a decent number, I bring him back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Vea, the other guys.
I don't know where I factor Shaq in there at the moment with the injury.
Hey, let's see. See what he has, because he's only what's he, 30?
I want to say he's 30 on the dot.
Yeah, 29, 30. So yeah, he could still have a few more years. Yeah, you could. Yeah, Shaq. But coming back from Achilles is, but easier now, right? With stem cells and everything else, we've seen this. So I would say he could be a transition guy. He could be a transition guy. No question.
They got to put more talent in that room, though.
Yeah. Oh,
no doubt about it.
They need a premier edge rusher. They need a premier badass edge rusher, big time. And there's a lot of needs here, but I think they got a good core. I think they got a good core. I think they can definitely do what the Eagles did, but they got to draft their ass off the next couple of years, just like Howie Roseman did. They got to get the good ones.
So where was Trask on Saturday night? Richie P says he was training at Soho, which I'm just gonna put it out there. My eyes have not seen it myself, but I have received pictures from other people that I know that are more of the partiers that have taken pictures of Kyle Trask out and about. Which doesn't bother me in the grand scheme of things.
Don't be getting DUIs.
Just don't be getting DUIs. Don't be flashing guns on.
Don't be flashing guns.
It's like the thing with John Morant. Like if
you're a single
he had
guy,
just gone out, I wouldn't have cared. But when you're shirtless, flashing guns on your Instagram, now I care.
I'd rather you be in a committed relationship and mature like Chris Godwin when he got here. Yes, I would.
All right, Dion.
But that's not, it's your life. It's not mine, right? What's that?
All right, Dion.
What?
You didn't hear the Dion thing that he's getting blowback for?
No.
I don't even know if he was saying it tongue-in-cheek or not, but he was on with Rich Eisen last week.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about quarterbacks, and he said, when we want quarterbacks, I want traditional values. I want mom and dad in the home.
Yep.
And he's like, now when it comes to defensive linemen, I want the guy that was on food stamps. I want the guy that had to hunt for every meal.
I love how honest he is.
He's honest.
I love him. Why should there be blowback to that? Because he's honest. That's why.
Do I have to explain why there's blowback to that?
Yes, because I everything he said is right on the money.
I'm just putting it out there one way or another.
What is there some type of racism to it? I don't know.
No, it's like a religious value thing, which he's also, by the way, like there's like a whole thing going on like with this like atheism group, I guess, that is like accusing him of forcing players to pray.
Oh, they did the same thing with
It's
Bobby
all going
Bowden.
on right now. I'm just putting it out there.
Same thing with Bobby Bowden. Same exact thing.
It's a whole thing right now.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, because listen. Oh my God, let's get me started on this.
I didn't mean to get you on that, but I thought you knew about it.
I did read about it. I didn't because to me I'm like, oh, that's freaking ridiculous. You can't be serious about that. People are serious about that. But I still say this. It's such a small minority of people that are blown up by mainstream media to be this huge, large group. Oh, everybody's incensed. No, it's like 3 bots and a dude in a basement. That's all it is. It's not some, there's not some groundswell of public opinion. No, it's not. The majority of Americans see that and go, that's right, absolutely 100% right. And it's real talk. It's straight talk. Nobody likes that anymore. Everybody has to be even. It's equity, and everything's got to go perfectly even. Like, the world doesn't work that way, folks. Never will. And anybody who's selling you that communism and socialism and everybody gets everything equal is utopia. You're a moron. Look at history. It doesn't work that way. Humans don't operate that way. Sounds good on paper, doesn't work. So, enough of that.
Well, anywho.
Yeah, quick break. Chris Lugo is going to join us, but I also want to get to some Stamkos sound. So we got a lot more to get to. We're going to squeeze it all in here on this moribund Monday, if I may say that. But very interesting things going on here in Tampa Bay. So stay with us. For the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms, and let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by. Never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Gold and Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to lose weight or just lean up for bathing suit season where there are so many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there? You don't know where to start, right? We'll start at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and will help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently. Many of these other approaches are designed for the masses. So how's that going to work for you specifically? It's not. Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without the use of harmful drugs and side effects. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation. Home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We got to unpack a little something here on Devin White. So we did a big thing on the Lightning. We were going to try to get back to Stamkos, but basically Stamkos took the company line and said, it's on us. We're not pissed off. We need to play better, blah, blah, blah. So we did a whole thing on the Lightning, benching those guys. So if you want to check that out, go back to the beginning of the show, because this breaking news now is about Devin White is getting a little convoluted, and then we'll get to Chris Lugo as well. So now Rick Stroud has reported that the Bucs have no plans to trade Devin White. And then what else went out there?
Yeah, there was a fan who posted a photo in a Devin White jersey. And Devin White quote tweeted and said, "Next year we going to rock out even harder, I promise you. Hashtag GetLive45, hashtag GoBucks."
And this is on heels of basically 3 straight Instagram posts. What is the timing of the Instagram post? Was it late last night?
That was this morning.
This morning,
this
just
morning
3 in a row this morning.
Post. Yes.
So a couple hours later, or an hour later, everybody's freaking out because clearly Devin White is saying goodbye. Clearly somebody from the Bucs organization gets to him and says, "What are you doing? This is going to kill your trade value," or whatever. And now he's saying he's not going anywhere. So why do the 3 posts this morning? We know Devin's an emotional guy. So it may be about the fact that he's not going to they're not going to pick up or give him an extension, a big money extension. So he's realizing that now, and then he posts the 3 things saying goodbye, I'm out of here, to tell the Bucs, screw you. If you're not going to give me an extension, then I'm not going to play. I'm going to hold out. I mean, I'm just throwing a lot of different things out there. I'm not reporting this as fact. I'm just trying to understand in this modern world how we understand what people really think and what they're really saying. And to me, that's what Devin White is. The Bucs are not going to give him that big money deal, so they're going to have to trade him. That's what it's telling me. And now somebody from the organization got to him and said, "Hey, don't put that stuff on your Instagram, because then everybody knows we're going to trade you and your trade value goes down." Does that make sense?
Theoretically, yeah. Makes sense.
What doesn't make sense are the 3 posts and now him saying we're going to be even better next. That makes no sense. That's completely contradictory. So I typically will go with the first emotional post as being the truth, because everything else is cover up and spin. Right?
Yeah. That's fair.
I think that's fair. So, all right, here we go. Get your popcorn ready. What's going to happen with Devin White now? What's going to happen with the quarterback situation? We're all very much
at least the off season's keeping us on our toes here.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly
Even
is.
though Brady's gone, it doesn't mean that there's any less things to talk about with this team.
No, there's going to be. It may not be national news.
No, but it's a lot of questions, though.
It's certainly important to our market and the people in it. So, all right, here we go. Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback of the Saints. We don't know if Devin White's going to be near next year. We don't know who the hell the Bucs quarterback's going to be, and away we go. All right, well, let's talk some wellness, and I do have some injury questions for Chris Lugo as well, Director and PA at the Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Good morning, Chris. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, JP. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good. I do need a little doctor's. Why I probably should have texted you yesterday, because rarity on Sunday because I don't drink alcohol much anymore, but I did on Saturday, and I had me a good old hangover yesterday, and no sleep, hardly any sleep Saturday, and even last night I had a hard time sleeping because the alcohol is probably still in my system. Do you have any miracle hangover remedies for us today?
Go see the guys at Replenish IV Solutions. 100%.
There we go.
It's easy peasy. Or they'll come to you. And my favorite one they do over there is the Weekend of Vegas.
That's what they call it?
That's what they call it. I like it. It works really well, though. It's got everything you want for almost any remedy.
Really? What's in it?
What's not in it? Pepsid's in it, Toradol's in it, magnesium's in it, B12's in it, vitamin C's in it. It's a cornucopia of it's the magnifique, as they would say, IVs.
Okay. Well, and what is that? Do you know what that typically costs?
I don't
Probably
know
less
their
than all the
cost.
money I spent on alcohol.
Don't know their costs, but if you let them know you're one of my patients, you'll get a discount. Actually.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, there we go. Well, you always get discounts with you.
I know. It pays to know people, right?
Right. Exactly. I saw Rondé Barber did a post this weekend where he was hooked up with Replenish IV. They came to, I think, the offices over there at Valspar. Of course, he's the chairman. And maybe he had a rough weekend like I did as well. So, or just getting more, but you could do these. This is a good thing to segue into. This is a whole another realm of wellness that I really popped up in the last 3 to 4 years. These IV places. What's your take on them? What works good? What doesn't work good? What do you see as beneficial?
I think for overall wellness, they work very well, but you have to have that expectation set. So for a hangover, that weekend of Vegas, it's going to knock it out. Had a guy in the office here this week, last week, should I say, sick. Get the weekend of Vegas, get high dose vitamin C with that. They really do work well. And so I know the guys over Replenish, they also do like an NAD infusion too. Prepared, you'll be on that IV for probably about 2 to 3 hours, if not longer, depending on how well you can tolerate that. Because the NAD will make you feel a little tingly. That's a nice way of saying it. So they do have a good overall general health stigma with them.
Okay, and the hangover stuff works too. All right, I'm interested in that. Now I also want to ask you about Achilles injuries because Shaq Barrett's coming off an Achilles injury. We saw one this weekend in basketball as well. Typically doesn't happen with younger, I guess, athletes as much, but as you get older, it certainly becomes not only for the athletes but for us. I mean, this is we're seeing a lot of this in pickleball, I think, because a lot of older guys are starting to play pickleball, right? So, tell me about the Achilles injuries vis-a-vis Shaq Barrett coming back, and then also for the Weekend Warriors, are there ways to keep yourself from getting that dreaded injury because that's like a year-long rehab, right?
Yeah, they're tough. They're not easy at all. The Achilles injuries depends on what we talked about before. Is it a partial tear or is it a complete tear? Most people who get Achilles injury tell you they just got shot by a sniper.
Yeah.
Like, they'll hear a loud pop sound and then they fall to the ground. They don't know what happened. But you want to get those repaired as soon as possible, just like a bicep tendon tear. You want to get those tendons repaired really quickly because if not, that muscle will contract and be really difficult to bring back down in order to sew that tendon back together. For the Weekend Warriors, that's a rough recovery. You're going to be in a boot for a long time.
Yeah.
For those athletes, look, they're going to get the kitchen sink thrown at them. They're going to get ultrasound. They're going to get all sorts of stuff. Maybe some stem cells.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, they're tough, and there's really no rhyme or reason on who gets them and who doesn't get them. There is a class of drugs called fluoroquinolones, ciprofloxacin. Everybody knows Cipro.
Yeah.
That are notorious for it. But man, I put guys on Cipro for a month for prostatitis. I warn them about this liability associated with fluoroquinolones. I've never seen one. Knock on woods. That someone's got a tendon rupture from being on a quinolone. But some people say it's not from stretching out properly, not warming up properly.
Right.
Really tough to say.
But that's always a good idea, especially for the weekend warriors, because it's something we don't do is warm up before we, and a proper warm up is what, 15 to 20 minutes stretching and cardio, or not cardio, but just getting the blood going, getting a little sweat going.
Depends how old you are. Depends what activity you're doing.
Yeah. But good advice if you're just getting into pickleball, which I think a lot of older guys are doing and maybe haven't been doing a cardio movement sport like that. Not like it's tennis, but it's it's the short movements, and it's get there 20 minutes early and warm up properly, right? Stretch out the calf muscles, stretch out all the lower half, and get warmed up properly before you start running and making quick moves, right?
Yeah, this is a rare tear, but they do exist, and you will see them, and they'll pop up in spurts. Yeah. But it's rare. They really and truly are.
Good, because I don't want one. Do you have any honeymoon advice for my soon-to-be married co-host here? Because he's got the wedding on Saturday. So should he be carbo loading this week? Should he be? What should he be doing this week? Any premarital?
I need to know what I need to know what the best advice is for the night of the wedding, because we're going off in the plane then at 6 in the morning.
Cialis is
what's the best advice there is what I need, because I'm still trying to figure that all out.
A couple rosaries, someone to talk you out of it. What else?
He's gonna kill us.
Yeah, sorry. Well, there's really no pre-honeymoon things. A little vitamin C would be great. A little vitamin Cialis. Everyone needs some of that. It should be in the water, for God's sake. All those drugs do is vasodilate. That's why all diabetics should be on them. That's beside the point.
Right. Very safe drug.
Very safe drug. Yes. Hands down, one of the safest drugs out there. Yeah.
Very, very beneficial. So, and I'm sure, where are you going for your honeymoon?
Antigua,
they probably have those IV places all over Antigua, right?
Maybe.
Any of these tourist places where people get drunk, they probably have them all over in Mexico now. Who knows?
I guarantee they do. No telling what you're getting in Mexico, though.
That's true, right? You got to be really careful. You got to be
very careful.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. All right. Any other things going on in the topical, the wellness area these days that you wanted to hit?
No, everything's copacetic at this point in time. HRT is always a big thing. Everyone wants to get big and ripped for the summertime with that summertime body. Mm-hmm. So that's getting on HRT and optimizing your lean muscle mass is big, especially the older you and I get, JP. Nick doesn't care so much, but the older we get, we need to carry that lean muscle mass. You don't need to lead to osteopenia and osteoporosis as we get older. So HRT, that's really the key. And like we talked about before, it's all about symptoms. It's not about numbers.
Right.
Not about numbers at all.
But where it is about numbers, Chris, is a lot of people out there, they're probably in their late 20s and 30s and even early 40s are probably, I don't need testosterone yet. I may need it soon. But we're seeing the numbers here are just dramatic, right? When guys are getting their blood work, they're like, holy crap, I didn't realize that, because they probably feel kind of okay, but they could be feeling so much better, right? And be doing so much better with their muscle mass.
But I think it's a few things. One, we're starting to check these numbers more. When you and I were younger, could that have been the case? We just didn't know. We didn't check.
Right.
More than likely could have been. Second thing is also everybody's on these things at all hours of the nights now, so they're not getting good restful sleep, which is a big thing when it comes to TRT. If you're not getting good restful sleep, you're not going to get that big surge of testosterone. And I love it when my young guys come in here and they want to build natural T. Now, I'm all for it, but they got to optimize everything in order to do that.
Right. And sleep is
start tracking your numbers now when you're younger. Don't wait till you're 50, 60 years old. Track your testosterone numbers. Track them now when you're younger, so you know where you're going.
Yeah, and if you've got any type of medical insurance, those labs are basically
paid for. Yeah, and if you didn't, I mean, they're pretty cheap. They're not that expensive. Maybe $100, maybe $150 cash price to get those labs checked. That's pretty inexpensive.
All right. How do they get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me is go to the website, BAMMC, Bravo, Alpha, Mike, Charlie.com. Call the office, 844-789-2266, which is BAM. Call the office, make an appointment.
Yeah. Get that beach body ready. All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So there you go. Get your vitamin C up this week.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm already. This is about the time of the week now that I've gotten nervous now about this. I've been very calm this entire process.
There might be a little surprise in your wedding card, so get it before Casey gets it.
Okay.
I can't
Gotcha.
legally give you
okay.
a drug
I
that's
gotcha.
prescribed.
I gotcha.
But,
But yeah, I'm a little nervous now. We had our last meeting yesterday with the pastor, and we were actually going over like the ceremony, and I'm just sitting there, and I got like a knot in my stomach talking about this stuff, and I was like, oh my, like I'm getting one right now talking about it. I'm like, here we go, we are here.
But listen, truthfully, you you don't want to be single at 50 plus years old. So you got a good one. You find a good girl, because when you get to my age, all the good ones are taken. But so it's the most wonderful thing in the world to have kids and have a family. At least for me, it's not for everybody, obviously. I didn't work out exactly as I'd hoped, but I still got 2 great kids, and marriage, if done right, is the most amazing thing. And with a good family and all that, it can be fantastic. So I wish you the best. And I think you done found a good one. That's the hard part. No question about it. All right. And do we need to hit another break?
Yeah, we got to take a small little break.
Small little break. We'll come back and we'll try to make heads or tails out of what's going on with Devin White this morning on all this social media ridiculousness. So quick break. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us. Tour is back. The Valspar Championship returns to Innisbrook March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of great golf action and a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Every tournament day offers something different. On Friday, we'll celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the wearing of the green. Saturday means Valspar Live, where tournament patrons will be able to enjoy country music superstar Darius Rucker with a free 90-minute show after the conclusion of play. And on Sunday, we're going to crown a champion. You don't want to miss it. Everybody will be there. Tickets on sale now at valsparchampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss it. The 2023 Valspar Championship. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We have new tweets with Devin White, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, Italiano Insurance, Golden Diamond Source, and American Mortgage Services. You need a new loan, a refi. Rates are all over the place. See my man Scott Fitzgerald, Scott at amstampa.com. He is the best in the business. Keep your fees the lowest, get your rates the lowest, because he shops it all around. It's not just one company, and he's the best in the business. Scott at amstampa.com. And the Valspar Championship, folks, we're just a week away, basically, a week and a half away. So get your tickets now. Get the rooftop tickets. The Hooters Owl's Nest tickets are still on sale, I believe. I'm not sure if they have sold out yet. We got more announcements over the week. Former champion Gary Woodland is joining the party. Who else did I see? Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Sam Burns.
I know
obviously.
They announced that Gronk's going to be at the
rooftop?
The rooftop.
Oh, cool.
So Gronk's going to be, and it's a
rooftop?
St. Patty's Day type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be probably crazy, I'm assuming.
Oh, St. Patty's on Friday.
St. Patty's Day. He's going to be leading the event there.
Oh, wow. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong. All right. So what did Devin just tweet out?
So Devin White has quote tweeted the original post from Greg Allman, where he
Right.
said some cryptic post from Devin White. He said, reflecting on how fast my first 4 years went by, definitely a thanks to Bucks fans. And he puts in quotes, good and mean ones, LOL. The upside is scary.
He's trying to somebody got to him and talked him off the ledge. And so he's trying to act like this is not a goodbye. It was clearly a goodbye. What were those 3 posts for? He did a peace out. Come on. So I don't. That's the way I read the situation, folks. The Bucs have told him they're not going to extend him with a long-term extension. So he's probably saying, well, then I ain't playing here. I'm going somewhere else. So, okay. But the Bucs don't need that if they're trying to trade him. Duh. It's obvious. They need to trade him. They need to get what they can because they don't want to lose him for nothing. He's a tradable and he could be very good in somebody else's defense. We're not saying he's a bad player. The fact that he has great trade value makes him a good player. But it's a luxury that the Buccaneers just don't have right now to be able to pay an inside linebacker that much money. Simple as that. Simple as that. Nothing bad on Devin White at all, him as a player, but he's just not worth elite money because of the position he plays and the fact that he's not elite at those things that you need to be elite at. And that's not knocking the guy. It's hard to be elite, right? Bucks Basement says this: Carr to the Saints, who cares? The team is trash, and they're not winning with Carr. Just going to sign him for a massive contract for what? To get bounced in round 1? Yeah, I kind of see that.
I agree with that assessment.
I would you rather look? I think he makes them competitive. I don't
think they're trash.
No, they're not trash. They're gonna, they're probably gonna win the NFC South.
I think their ceiling is like a 10-11 win team.
Yeah,
but definitely bounce in the first round.
I mean, you think Kyle Trask and the Buccaneers are trash? Do you think that we're going to beat the Saints
if the
twice?
Saints are trash. What are the Bucs?
Yeah, come on. I mean, I'm just keeping it real here. The Saints are going to be favored over the Buccaneers every time they play this year. Both times they play this year. So who's going to win? I don't know. I have to see what the Bucs roster is. It could be dreadful with all the salary cap money that they have to eat.
We'll see.
We shall see.
And I'll just respond to Rich real quick before we sign off. I'm sure you mentioned at the kickoff show, but God bless Dave Wills and his family.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. First 10 minutes of the show, we dedicated it to Dave Wills. So
yeah,
I absolutely encourage you to go listen.
Yeah, go back and check that out. All right. Our thanks to everybody who listened today and everybody who jumped in. Great show today. Appreciate you guys each and every day. We will be back tomorrow. Believe we're going to have Scott Reynolds on fresh from the Combine for all his great insight from the Pewter Report. Have a great day, everybody.